Yeah, that's what I heard. That's what I heard. So word on the street. Okay. So looks like the first set is going to be Hansen against some Terran. So it's going to be a TBT to start off. Now Hansen, by the way, played a very, shall we say, interesting game against none other than Bisu last season. Where, I mean, obviously he came in as the huge underdog playing against Bisu. I think that actually was his first televised game, or that was his first game of the season. I'm not sure if that was his first televised game ever. I don't think it was, but it was his first game of the season. He came against Bisu, but whoa, he's playing against firebathero today. Oh my goodness, this should be quite cool. Firebathero, always a favorite, and has pretty good TVT. But yeah, Hansen last season, so he came out against Bisu, right? And it was a TVP on Sniper Ridge, and everyone was like, oh, okay, Bisu got this easy, this is just some random guy. And then Hansen does like this completely bungled 2-fact. He 2-fact pushes cross-map against Bisu, but he forgets to rally his barracks. So during the push, he just keeps making Marines, and they all just stay at his main. So he ends up with like 6 Marines in his main base, and then Bisu kills his push, and he looks in his main, he's like, oh shit. And then so like everyone's like, oh okay, Bisu just won the game because this guy's terrible. And then somehow like he manages to pull it back. He expands. He goes up to like I don't know. I can't remember. Did he go do a 5 or 6 fact? Basically, he just like kept attacking on 2 base and eventually just killed Bisu. And it was the most ridiculous game, and people just it was quite a thing to watch. But anyway, he's gonna be playing the Dancing Queen today, Firebathero. I'll probably just call him FBH. Excuse me. Alright, so looks like Hansen is going to be the brown Terran in the top left, and that would make Firebathero the blue Terran in the top right. Looks like we are actually on Sniper Ridge, so this is the battleground where Hansen managed to take out Bisu. See if he can take out FBH in this game. Sorry guys, I think it was actually a bad idea to eat Nutella before casting. My mouth is like all sticky. Yeah, that can get misconstrued. Oh man. Anyway. So yeah, close position TVT on Sniper Ridge. I think that's gonna. These positions are gonna be nice for FBH. The third base for Hansen. Hansen was brown, right? Yeah. The third base for Hansen is at the 12 o'clock, so it's like halfway in between their mains. And that's not going to be an ideal expansion location, so he's probably going to want to take the 9 o'clock third, which is a little bit further away, a little bit more difficult to defend. So yeah, if it does go to like the super late game, like past 3 bases, or up to 3 bases, I think it's going to be a nice situation for Firebathero. Let me just quickly put the clock positions in my overlay as well, since they are both Terran. Oops. I messed up again. In the meantime, if you notice, both players have actually built their barracks kind of on the inside corner of their base, as close to the center of the map as possible, basically because in Brood War TVTs you always go mech. You don't actually need Marines. So, I mean, you can make like 1 Marine to stop a scouting SCV, but after that you generally don't want too many Marines. So most players will build the barracks on the edge there, make a Marine, and then lift the barracks off and float it out to go scout, which is a pretty good idea. In the meantime, looks like Hansen's SCV is already heading over to, well, yeah, okay, it's heading over to Firebathero's base. It was taking a somewhat odd-looking path there. I'm not sure if he was trying to dodge a scouting worker incoming, or what was up with that. In the meantime, look at this, very, very interesting. Immediately placing a depot with that SCV that was making the barracks. So basically, he doesn't want to send out a second SCV and waste even more mining time. He's just like, you know, this SCV is already over here. Instead of wasting time losing a few minerals, I'll just make this supply depot. You know, that basically like saves him 20 minerals or something. It's really small, but you know, those are the kinds of little optimizations that we always see pro gamers make, and I really like it. So as we can see, the barracks of Hansen floating out now. I think the barracks of firebathero is going out as well. The one Marine going to chase away the scouting SCV. I actually don't know if that scouting SCV saw the guys pulled off gas. I don't think it did. But yeah, so firebathero now only has one SCV on gas. That's not a mistake. He did pull 2 off intentionally, which means he's basically going for a fast expansion after this one factory. But look at this, an SCV actually sneaks around the back to go and see what's going on here. Wait, is it actually not going to go all the way in? Looks like it's actually just going to wait at the expansion to see if firebathero builds a command center. Look at this very clever little trick here from Hansen. So he sees the command center, immediately runs away, not even revealing the SCV. I don't even know if firebathero is aware that he's been scouted. In the meantime, machine shop going down for firebathero, resuming gas mining, so he's going to get some siege tanks out ASAP. Meanwhile, I believe there's an expansion there for Hansen as well, but he's also gone for a starport. So he got a vulture first, delayed his machine shop by a little bit, saved up that gas. This is very interesting. This is almost like the Broodor version of a 1-1-1, although I guess with an expansion. But anyway, yeah, one fact, one port here from Hansen. And I'm a little bit surprised that there's no additional building from firebathero, because he should have a second factory. Okay, I think he just started a second factory. It felt a little bit slow to me, but it's not a huge deal. It's possible that Hansen actually cut a couple of SCVs or something to get that starport out super quickly. I mean, I guess starport is slightly cheaper than a factory. It's 150 minerals versus 200 minerals for a factory, I believe. So maybe that's why you could get it a little bit quicker. Anyway, it looks like the SCV is doing a weird pathing there, kind of running into the cliff and then running down the ramp to the natural. Fortunately, those are SCVs and not lemmings, so they actually can't fall off the cliff. Well, I guess it's not because they're SCVs, it's because Broodor doesn't let you walk off cliffs, which could be an interesting feature, honestly. Just give every single Broodor unit like the Colossus ability, as you just walk up and down cliffs. Or I guess walk down them, not walk up them, because that's a little bit unfair. But yeah. Anyway, looks like taking the natural gas pretty quickly. That's fairly standard. And TVT is generally all about the gas. Your staple units are going to be, of course, your siege tanks, and then depending on what you decide to do, you can either go for Goliaths and dropships, or you can go for mass wraiths. But all of those units, of course, are very gas heavy. We occasionally see some mass vulture styles as well. You can go tank plus mass vulture. If your opponent if you're not really scared of any wraiths from your opponent, or you can also go for a really fast, like mass factory vulture attack. And the reason that works is that you lay spider mines all over the place. So if your opponent doesn't have enough regular units, they can't move out because they'll just die to spider mines. So it ends up being like this crazy mass vulture versus mass vulture game, which can be quite entertaining from time to time, but generally leads to kind of short games. Anyway, looks like we have a bit of an attack here going in from firebathero. Hansen has 2 tanks versus 1 tank and 3 vultures, laying a bunch of spider mines. I mean, with good micro here, Hansen is gonna stay alive, but he does have a bunch of spider mines now outside of his natural, so he's got to be a little bit careful here. He can't really move out anytime soon. I like this little depot wall that he did, and apologies for the lag, by the way. I'm not really sure what I can do about that. Anyway, it looks like the first wraith comes out and is revealed, so now firebathero is aware of the tech. It looks like Comsat's going down for Hansen, but firebathero is probably going to be the one watching those. Interestingly, there was no control tower on that starport, which means that we're not going to see cloak. It's just going to be, I guess, uncloaked wraiths. Vanilla wraiths, perhaps? Ghetto wraiths? Made in China wraiths? I don't know. So it looks like, whoa! First wraith just gonna walk in here and get sniped by 2 Goliaths. Meanwhile, we already see a starport also for firebathero. This is a very interesting choice. So going for the quick 2 factories, but then going for a starport as well. Oh, this is why you do not want to move out with not enough units when there's spider mines on the map. The thing is, if you can get up enough, like Goliaths and tanks, it actually doesn't matter if there's mines. You can aim move across them, because tanks and Goliaths, of course, have insta-shot, so they'll just pick off the mines as they pop up. I mean, like, the reason you can't do it with Dragoons is Dragoons take like an hour to actually shoot their little plasma bolt thingy. But with tanks and Goliaths, if you have like 10 tanks and or Goliaths, you can just aim move across minefields and not worry about it generally. But when you only have 3, that's a bad idea. In the meantime, looks like Hansen actually, I probably used a scan there to clear those mines on the ridge, so he just wants to claim that ridge by his natural. He's still going to be a little bit careful because, of course, on this Neo Sniper ridge, there is that kind of semi-backdoor-ish ramp that's kind of in between that ridge and your natural, so there is a second entrance into your natural. We actually saw, I can't remember who played, but some Terran made good use of that the other day during like a run around with some vultures. Who was that? No, I'm sure someone will say it in the chat. Anyway, looks like firebathero is countering wraiths with his own wraiths, and it's interesting because Hansen didn't actually make that many wraiths. He made like, I think, only just 1 or 2, and is now just transitioned into dropships, adding that control tower to his starport. Meanwhile, moving out with more siege tanks here, and looks like he's making more vultures on the ground, spending all of his gas on the siege tanks on the starport tech. There is an SCV now at the 3 o'clock base. Looks like firebathero thinking about taking a relatively quick 3rd base. That's fairly safe in TVT, where you know, Terran's defensive power is a lot better than their offensive capabilities. So, but he might be able to snipe the SCV, although SCVs are pretty beefy, and yes, the SCV survives with 1 shot remaining. It does take 3 vulture shots to kill an SCV. So that guy's gonna survive there, although it'd be quite annoying if he like starts building the command center and a random vulture runs in and just gets the last hit off. That'll delay his expansion by quite a bit. But now the wraiths of firebathero are coming out here. Once again, he's revealing them with only 2. Neither player trying to hide it very much. And in the meantime, there's going to be a bit of a standoff here over this middle ridge. Neither player actually claiming the middle ridge, which actually makes things quite curious. They're both kind of on the low grounds on either side. Hansen's slightly more forward, but not enough to actually have a high ground advantage. And look at this! Even though I said that taking that 12 o'clock wouldn't necessarily be the best idea, Hansen's going for it anyway. But look at this, you see he has to claim now this middle ridge in between their bases, and firebathero is not going to let him do that easily. And also, but even if he claims it, like, that base is easily droppable. It's very close to firebathero's main. I mean, it is a double-edged sword, though. I mean, that also does open up opportunities for him to drop in firebathero's main. But, yeah, I'm not really sure. I mean, having said that, look, it looks like that's exactly what he's going for right now. It looks like 1 vulture, actually, took out the SCV building his command center, so that's going to delay that quite a bit. Meanwhile, I think this is very interesting here. So, Hansen was using the barracks to spot first tanks, whereas firebathero was using his wraiths, and obviously wraiths are a little bit better than a barracks. So those wraiths take that down, and now firebathero actually has a vision advantage. It looks like he's actually pulling his wraiths back to help defend against this drop. Is he going to go help just kill the vultures, or is he going to just intercept the dropship? Looks like he's got plenty of ground units at home, so he's just going to send the wraiths to intercept the dropship. And we are actually lagging like crazy here. Is this because no? What is going on? Alright, I'm gonna try closing Skype. How do I exit the Skype? Close. Wait, how do you exit Skype? It's not showing me like the quit button. Alright, whatever. Why is there no quit button? When I close, it just like minimizes. Oh, here we go. Okay, sweet. Anyway, back to the game. Looks like, a little bit of vulture shenanigans here on the tanks. Looks like, big spider mine taking down, looks like 3 siege tanks there. Bit of a mistake by firebathero to clump those up. Even if there weren't mines around, like, you wouldn't want to clump them because your opponent has siege tanks that'll splash them as well. But as we can see, firebathero's 3rd base is already up and running. And I think SCV is just now being transferred to the 12 o'clock base for Hansen. Yep, there we go. He's got 1 turret in the back there to help defend against drops. It's interesting, neither player seems particularly concerned about drops from that location. Only 1 turret there, and firebathero doesn't, I mean, I think he's got a spotting depot at the left side of his main base, but not much else. I think we actually missed what happened to the wraiths. Due to the lag. Anyway, looks like Goliath now, starting to take down firebathero's barracks. A bit of a reverse situation from just now. Oh no, looks like the wraiths are just chilling with the rest of the army. Okay. But now look at this. Think about the expansion pattern now. Okay, if both players want to take a 4th base, firebathero can expand to the bottom right, which is kind of a natural expansion path. He's already moving in that direction. So that's going to be quite nice for him. But hold that thought, there is a drop in the main base. What is it going to be? It looks like he's actually not going to drop. Okay, cool. But yeah, I think the 4th base for firebathero is much more natural, much more comfortable to take. Whereas for Hansen, I mean, I guess he's going to go to the 9 o'clock, which is not terrible. But, yeah, it's interesting. It's an interesting thing about it. But, whoa, look at this! A bit of a siege up in the middle ground, high ground pod thing? I don't know. There's like a small circle of high ground here in the middle of the map. As you can see, with like a bit of resources there as well. So it looks like Hansen is going to claim this part of the map. It's interesting that Hansen seems to be, you know, the aggressor here on the ground. He's just slowly pushing firebathero back. I mean, as you can see, he's wrested control of that middle high ground ridge in between their bases from firebathero. And it's just kind of curious to me if you consider their openings, where Hansen went 1 fact 1 port and firebathero went for 2 factories. So you would think that his ground army would be stronger, but it looks like that's not really the case, or perhaps he's just miscontrolling it. I'm not really sure. In the meantime, looks like both players once again can lose some scouting buildings here. These are not really big deals to be losing these. Of course, minerals, engineering bays, and the like only cost minerals, so it doesn't really matter. As I said before, gas is really the important resource in this matchup. But whoa, firebathero's got to be a little bit careful with these dudes. And I'm pretty sure he saw that dropship. Well, the dropship flied directly over the vulture, so he obviously saw it. And oh my goodness, right before we see a dropship snipe. Sucks. Okay, we're back. Sorry guys. Anyway, looks like Vulture's just running around the south side. It is quite a bit of ground to cover to actually like fully split the map. And whoa, firebathero making a big move here on the south ridge. It looks like Hansen had set up a small position here. Is it going to be enough? Of course, Terran's defensively so much more cost efficient. If you're attacking into a siege location, you're going to take so many more casualties. But it looks like firebathero does have enough units here to actually clear that out. But he's got to be a little bit careful, because if he focuses his efforts too much here on the bottom, you know, Hansen can actually do a huge attack towards his natural, and he might not have enough units there to defend. It's interesting, we actually saw a game like where that happened last season between Turn and Bogus, where basically Bogus kind of like was focused more on the late game, so they were actually in the same spawn locations, I think. Bogus sent a huge portion of his army to the south to kind of like take a position and get rid of Turn's units, and so Turn just like did a giant counterattack into the natural and just killed him, and Bogus's army was completely out of position and he could do absolutely nothing about it. So that was a very interesting game. Anyway, it looks like +2 is done for firebathero, but only +1 for Turn. For Hansen, which is a pretty huge deal here. Of course, +2 is the magic upgrade in TVT. It allows your sieged tanks to 2-shot your opponent's tanks, whereas if you only have +1, then you need 3 shots. +1 or +0, I guess. And it looks like a double expand here going down for firebathero at the bottom right, taking the natural and the main there. Meanwhile, the 9 o'clock base I think is actually already up and running. I do see some movement over there with probably SCVs. So Hansen's 4th base is actually a little bit faster than firebathero's, but firebathero is going to have 2 extra bases here pretty quickly, and he's taking a good position here on the south side. So we actually looks like we're going to see a split map TVT here. He's going to go to a long game. Hansen now is the one actually also double expanding, so he's taking the bottom left main and natural as well, and that's going to mean he's going to have his 6 bases on his side of the map. firebathero should take that 6 o'clock if he wants to do a proper split map, and this is actually going to turn into a really long TVT. And that's going to be really interesting. It's really going to tax, you know, both the players' multitasking and strategical thinking. I know a lot of Brood War players like to compare, you know, late game TVT to just a very nice positional chess match. But hold that thought. Looks like we're gonna have a big engagement here at the north side. That's a lot of tanks really clumped up. Oh man, a couple of big siege tank volleys could take those all out, but it looks like they're not quite in range or they don't have vision. +2 is now done for Hansen, by the way, so neither player will have the upgrade advantage. Nice little factory layout there for firebathero. And well, the battle lines have been drawn, and now it's down to the players. So there's a lot of now there's actually a few different options for both players. As we can see, Hansen has decided to go for the mass drop option, but we can already see some pre-emptive turrets and mines being laid here to stop that from firing. But here, it's quite funny. It looks almost like an anti-recall defense. Of course, that will stop any big dropships. Wow, he's also got some Valkyries here. So Hansen's got to be careful how he goes in here. But you know, there's also a couple of other things you can do. I mean, you can go mass battle cruiser. That's actually not that uncommon in the very late game TVT to do a big battle cruiser switch. Although usually you try to have a bit of an advantage before you can do that. You have to have a bit of a big bank to afford that kind of thing. But it is very cool to see it. Or you just do lots of these drop plays. But the thing is, doing like big ground pushes generally isn't as effective because of how, you know, all the mines being laid, all the good siege tank positions, and whoa, it looks like the drop actually goes to the south position here. It looks like Hansen has decided he wants to deny the 6 o'clock base from firebathero, and that's a pretty good idea. If he can deny the 6 o'clock base, then it won't be a split map. It'll be Hansen's 6 bases against firebathero's 5, so he will have the resource advantage going into the late game. This actually is a pretty nice move that we did see occasionally in TVT last season, where Terrans will actually just kind of preemptively attack these, or not really attack, but kind of just claim these faraway expos that, you know, should really be their opponents. But they'll just leave like a few units there and take advantage of the fact that you're defensively so much more efficient. And just be like, okay, if you want to split the map with me and take this expansion, you have to commit a lot of units to doing it. I think we actually saw a great game between I want to say Baby and Bogus last season on Ground Zero, where Baby did a really crazy strategy where he just immediately like rushed for the main bases on the map, which are more resources than like the inside expansions. So it became like this weird situation where it was split map, but like Baby had an expansion that was inside Bogus's half of the map or something, and Bogus just like wasted too many units trying to take it, and I think Baby took the game. I'm pretty sure it was Baby. I know it was Bogus who he played against, but anyway, looks like mass dropship play as well from firebathero. So both players doing the tank Goliath dropship play. That is the standard TVT. We do occasionally see mass wraiths and whatnot, but this is going to be really cool. So basically what happens is the ground Terran army, the mech army, is not that mobile. The Goliaths and tanks kind of clunky, but the dropships obviously going to give you are your mobile, I guess, transporting force. So the dropships really dictate, you know, where players can be attacking. You know, whether they can drop an expansion, or they can even use the dropships in a big to support a big ground push, where you go in with all your ground units and you also drop a bunch of units on top of your opponent's siege tanks, and you can break siege lines like that. It's actually a very strong method of doing that. You know, you cause tank splash on all his own units and whatnot. But anyway, it looks like Hansen is actually slowly but surely pushing his way across this north side. I'm not sure how this is happening. Firebathero's got to make sure he doesn't get pushed back too far here, or else that might, you know, leave some vulnerabilities for vultures to run through and whatnot. Meanwhile, he's building a lot of turrets to stop a drop in his main base. That is so many turrets. Which is fine because, as I said, you know, you don't really need minerals in this matchup. I'm sure both players actually have a lot of minerals banked. Actually, wait, why do we not see the resource counter now? But anyway, looks like we're going to have a big break here on the north side. As I said, carpet bombing the entire army of Hansen. Hansen actually had almost no units here. It looked like he was actually loading up a drop of his own. He's got a few units in the back, but wow, firebathero crushing this position. I don't know where Hansen's army is right now, but it is not in the correct location, and this is going to put that 12 o'clock expansion at huge risk. Firebathero could actually just run a control group of vultures in there, kill all the SCVs. He doesn't even need to commit any units to killing it. If he can just get all those SCVs. But meanwhile, look at this. The 6 o'clock base though is, you know, is taken by Hansen. He doesn't have a command center there yet, but he's denying it from firebathero. So even if Hansen loses his 12 o'clock base, he'll still be on even bases with firebathero. And actually, his bases will have more income or more resources left because he's already mined some from the 12 o'clock. So I think he's actually going to be in good shape. Meantime, looks like looking around what's going on, engineering being rebuilt, continuing with those upgrades. And is there going to be any battle cruiser switch? It doesn't look like either player is going to commit to that. I think it's a good idea. BC switch, as I said, you know, you kind of want to be in an advantage, or at least kind of have a bit of a stalemate in the ground war to do that. It is very expensive, and it does take a very long time for those guys to get out, so you gotta be careful when you decide to do that. And I'm a little bit surprised actually that Firebat Hero is not sending anything into the 12 o'clock. I don't know why. Does he not realize that that base is actually completely undefended? There's only turrets there. There's no ground units defending that base. Looks like he's just going to send his dropships. Like, he doesn't need to do that. He's going to lose a dropship or two here for no real reason. Like, he could have actually just walked his units in. I guess he just wasn't sure. But, you know, he should have had enough comsats. Like, I don't know why he didn't just scan that base and see that there was nothing there. That's really bizarre to me. Because in the late game TBT, you have, each player has at least 5 command centers, right? So you actually have so many comsats that you can just scan as much as you want. But oh my god, the dropships flying into double Valkyrie fire and turrets, they're going to take a lot of damage, but it looks like most of the dropships, no, it looks like more dropships are going to get taken down by turrets, but he's going to kill all the SCVs at this expansion. He might even get the command center here. And now the bottom right expansion is also vulnerable. A crazy TBT from both players. Tit for tat here, you drop my expansion, I'll drop yours. And I think this is favoring Hansen though. Hansen is taking out these fresh expansions at the bottom right, and Firebat Hero, I mean, he's getting position at the top side, but that's not quite as important. You know, the 12 o'clock was already mined for quite a while, and you know, even if he can push Hansen back a little bit, I don't think Hansen will let him get far enough to like contain him in his natural or anything like that. So it doesn't actually matter. But it looks like Firebat Hero now dedicating his forces to go and take this out. He can of course drop all over those tanks that were already dropped. But no, it looks like he's actually just going to drop on the high ground here and just kind of hold that expansion. It's actually interesting that those tanks are actually in a really nice position. There's actually not even enough space there for Firebat Hero to drop on top, directly on top of them. So if he tries to drop there, the tanks will get like shuffled to the right a bit and just get owned by all those siege tanks, I'm pretty sure. In the meantime, look at that, the mass dropship, boys. I always think this is so cool to see. Oh, please don't lag. No, I want to see the drop. 2 frames a second. Alright, cool. So it looks like he's going to break that north position. I think he did already lose a command center though, so he's going to have to re-expand there. And ooh, Firebat Hero. Firebat Hero is actually going for a big drop here in the main, but there's so many turrets. Look like he scans, he sees all the turrets, he's trying to find a good way, place the drop, but oh man, he's going to lose all of these dropships. So many dropships going down here. That is a very costly drop. Now there's no retreat for that ground army. That ground army is committed here, but it looks like he's going to intercept the big drop of Hansen. Hansen, I think, making a huge mistake there. He just flew all the dropships into the army. Firebat Hero targeting down some of the dropships. Hansen going to lose his entire drop force as well. I do not think that was necessary in the slightest. His ground army is coming back to help defend this base as well. But why did he do that? Why did he commit his dropships there? I don't understand. That was a big blunder. Maybe he underestimated the number of units that Firebat Hero would have, the number of Goliaths. But now he's going to lose this bottom left expansion. He might be able to hold on to the natural expansion there, but it's going to be tricky because now Firebat Hero will have the high ground there. Honestly, I'm actually not sure if if tanks can range the command center from the high ground. I would imagine that they can, because tanks actually have an insanely large range. But in the meantime, Hansen has actually claimed the 6 o'clock expansion. He built the command center a little bit off place, interestingly enough. But yeah, let's see. Can Firebat Hero actually range this? He's unsieged some tanks. Is he going to move up? Alright, let's actually have a look here. Well, Hansen's left a few units there at the bottom right natural to keep denying that. And, alright, they are shooting. I think they can range it. But here's a drop on top of the tanks. Here we go. And it looks like this time Hansen will have enough to clean it up. Maybe it's going to be close. I think he does, though. So it looks like Firebat Hero has decided to target down some dropships. He needs to target the other 2 dropships. No, he's not quite going to do it. But he is, though, going to go clean up these siege tanks. Man, he just went in on the ground, though. He must have taken quite a few casualties. Although there are a couple of dropships there. Probably did a bit of leading, dropping. In the meantime, 3-2 upgrades are done for Firebat Hero. And he's got 2 starports with control towers. That's got to be... No, it's not battlecruisers. Damn it. Oh, I was so excited. I was like, yes, he's doing a BC switch. But he's actually just pumping dropships out of 2 starports. Which, honestly, I think is a good idea. In TBT, those dropships give you so much mobility. You know, the Terran Crown Army is just not very useful. Well, it's useful, but it's useful like defensively. You can't really attack with it. I love these mass dropship style plays. So cool. And this is a pretty crazy game for our first game of the day, guys. Yeah, this is just game 1. So anyway, interestingly, now one thing I haven't really been talking about this game. Oh, hold on, I have to talk about it later because we have another drop coming in here, going to take down a lot of siege tanks. But actually, it looks like most of the dropships were empty. Wow. That did not go as I expected. I thought firebathero would crush that easily, but he actually only had like 5 units in those dropships. The thing is, there is still a center expansion on this map, so even if they divide the the outer expos evenly, Hansen is actually controlling that center platform, and there are actually 2 gas geysers there, as well as some minerals. He's actually distance mining the minerals there to some random command center he placed. I think we got a shot of it earlier on, but I assumed it was like he was going to lift it off and move it somewhere. I actually didn't realize that he just planted it there and was just chilling. Yeah, that's interesting. Anyway, and it looks like the observer showing us that Hansen has had 1 guy on that gas for quite a while here. That's actually a pretty huge blunder. At this stage in the game, I mean, it's difficult to notice these things. You know, you've got 6 expansions, you've got dropships flying everywhere. So many siege tank positions to be worrying about. There's a ridiculous amount of multitasking you have to do in this game. So the fact that he's missed one of his geysers doesn't really surprise me, but that is definitely going to be hurting him in the long term. In the meantime, looks like firebathero gearing up for a big attack here on the 6 o'clock. Looks like that's barely been mined, actually. Observer showing us that most of those mineral patches are almost at full value. Only about, like, not even 50 minerals mined from each patch. But is firebathero going to go for it? There's a decent number of turrets there. Looks like firebathero, though, is actually getting quite mined out. He's down to just his bottom right 2 bases. He's mined out his initial 3 bases, so he's got to be starting to get a little bit concerned about the resources, whereas Hansen, he's got basically 4 bases with resources right now, 6 o'clock and the bottom left 3 bases there. So Hansen is still in an absolutely fine position economically. firebathero, I think he absolutely has to take out the 6 o'clock or something, or maybe even the middle expo, one or the other. Interestingly, the 12 o'clock, nobody apparently cares about it anymore. Hansen's not even trying to retake it. Maybe he mined out the gas there already or something, so he doesn't actually care. Interestingly, Hansen's upgrades are a little bit behind. He's at 3-1 right now. firebathero was 3-2 a while ago. Might even be 3-3 already, I'm not really sure. But it looks like Hansen kind of abusing this high ground position actually a little bit outside the bottom right natural. firebathero seems to be a little bit indecisive with these dropships. Maybe he's trying to decide whether he actually has enough to go for it, or he's like waiting for some more units in. Looks like Hansen finally retaking that command center. Hansen seems to like placing his command centers off location for some reason. Like, I don't really see why he did that. He has vision there, so it's not like he couldn't see the base. I mean, he did the same at the 6 o'clock. He just keeps making them off location and then like floating them over. Even this one in the center is off. And yes, finally we have a physics lab. That is going to mean battle cruisers coming out. Oh baby, battle cruisers coming out of 3 starports. Now he's going to want to keep these hidden for a while. Yeah, he's going to just rally these kind of over this cliff thing to try and keep them hidden. I think it's a little bit unlikely that Hansen's ever going to scan over there by the natural. He might scan the main and see the physics lab though, but this could be a very interesting thing. But I did say that battle cruisers are generally something you want to do when you're a little bit ahead to kind of close out the game. Battle cruisers, basically wherever you throw them, they will just bust through tank lines and Goliath lines and whatnot. Looks like 3-2 finally done for Hansen. But firebathero is doing this basically from behind. He's trying to use it as a way to come back into the game, and it could be effective if Hansen doesn't see it in time. If he makes too many siege tanks, not enough Goliaths, a few battle cruisers coming out could do wonders against him. But I mean, it's just a very risky move, I think, on the part of firebathero, because now this is really cutting into his ground army production, and you really need a critical mass of battle cruisers to make them really effective. Like 2 BCs by themselves isn't really going to do anything. But it looks like a battle cruiser switch from Hansen as well. The observer was showing us that both players still have 2 armories spinning, even though their ground upgrades are basically done. But it looks like, look at this, firebathero's battle cruisers are already 2-2. firebathero knew that he was doing this switch a long time ago. He's already got 2-2 on the air. Whereas I'm sure Hansen probably has just started those upgrades. So if it does come down to a BC versus BC engagement, firebathero will have a nice upgrade advantage there. But I do think it's more correct what Hansen is doing here. He's got more expansions, the map is split favorably, there's no real weakness in his tank line that I can really see. So, I mean, I guess it's a little bit light on the north side, but he doesn't really care about that, it seems. And so he's going for the battlecruiser switch as well. We could be seeing BC on BC wars. And this is so interesting because this actually makes what firebathero is doing a lot safer. Because normally, like, if you go for a battle cruiser switch, oh my god, looks like we're gonna have a big drop here. The dropship's running the gauntlet, going through all the turrets. Looks like only a couple get taken down in transit. And this is going to be really bad for firebathero. He's going to lose all the SCVs at the bottom right. He's going to have to lift this off. That means firebathero is down to just a single mining base. The bottom right natural is his only mining base. He might actually just have to commit his battlecruisers here. That is so many units up there. I don't know if he can, if he has enough ground forces that he can actually just drop on this and win. I think he might need to reveal the battlecruisers. And is he bringing them over? I'm not sure. But the thing is, if he brings them over now, he can also use them to help an attack on the 6 o'clock base. That could be quite useful. I think he is bringing them over. Yes, he is actually bringing them over. No, he's like, where's he going? Is he going to bust the center? It looks like he might be going somewhere else here. He's just going to abandon that base. No, he is going down there. Man, battlecruiser is really, really slow, so it's going to take him a while to get down here. The command center is already going to go down. But if he can clean up all these units, it'll be quite nice for him as well. He's got 5 battlecruisers with 2-2 upgrades. Really, really powerful. But he's not really committing. Firebathero, you gotta commit, man. You gotta commit. You gotta go. Just jam it in. Just jam it in, man. The battlecruisers. He's like flying around in circles. What are you doing, man? Looks like you might want to wait. Oh, there was a scan there. I think he saw it. I think Hansen actually just scans the battlecruiser for us, so he actually knows what's coming. I don't think there's that much he can do about it. He can't really escape with those units anymore, but he'll just leave them there and sack them. And that'll be fine. It looks like he's going to actually just try and make the best of them while they're still alive before the battlecruisers come in. And this is what I'm talking about. This is why he needed to go. See, now these units are just going to go kill this expansion too. Because he was waiting for like 2 more battlecruisers. But it looks like he's going to move in. There were not that many Goliaths in the drop, so he's going to clean that up very easily. Look at how fast those battlecruisers take down those Goliaths. But he's going to lose all of his SCVs at that base, and actually he might even lose the command center. It's going to be close. No, he's not going to lose the command center. It looks like 3-3 also done for the battlecruisers, so those are some sick BCs. But now Hansen going for an attack on the north side, going to try and abuse the fact that the battlecruisers are slow as hell. Go for a big ground attack along the north side. He knows that firebathero's ground army is very, very weak since he invested so many resources in those battlecruisers and he was already at a resource deficit. But no, it looks like the ground army is heading along the south side now. I'm a little bit confused by this. It seems like he might actually just want to engage this army of firebathero. But there are the Yamato cannons going down on all those units. Nice Yamatoing from firebathero. Is he going to use some on the turrets? No, he's not going to waste any on the turrets. He's going to take those down. Easy peasy. And here comes the ground force as well. But there's a lot of spider mines there though. Oh my god. Losing so many units to the spider mines. That was a terrible drop for firebathero. He just lost his whole ground army for nothing. He's moving the battlecruisers in. Is it going to be enough? The 3-3 battlecruisers doing an insane amount of damage. Those early upgrades, that early upgrade investment for firebathero was so good. It looks like more starports going down for Hansen. I think he's going to go, yeah, he's going to go for mass rates as a counter to this. Is it going to be enough though? What? Just kill the base, man. Kill the base. Looks like he's going to go try and kill some of the siege tanks. He might just send a few ground units in to finish off that command center. He's really got to make the most of these battlecruisers because that is all he has going for him at the moment. But he is getting so much damage done with the BCs. He has cleared out the 6 o'clock base. He can take that for himself now. He really needs that base. He can also retake the bottom right main as well. I don't know why he's not doing that. I would imagine actually though both players probably have a decent amount of money banked. Although, no, never mind. Looks like we're in firebathero's first person view now, and he's got barely 500, and he's at 128 supply. He has got very few resources to work with. If you look at his mini-map, it is much more red than green there. Even though these battlecruisers are doing an amazing job, Hansen still has kind of, I guess, the map advantage. It looks like Hansen, as we can see here from his first-person view, massing up a lot of raids. He actually sees some dropships here. Oh my god, what is firebathero doing? A nice little scan there. Oh man, I love watching these first-person views. Look at that, it's so cool. Look at how fast this guy is. Oh man, he's not even like an S-class pro gamer. This guy's like some random guy. Can you imagine just like watching Flash's FP view? Oh, it's crazy. And it looks like the big ground army moving in here. firebathero was surprisingly passive with these battlecruisers after killing that 6 o'clock base. But you know what? I think that's not that bad. Considering there's a lot of open ground for them to cover. Like from the 6 o'clock base, realistically, where would they attack? Like the bottom right, the bottom left main is pretty far away. Like there's no real enemy expansions nearby. They would have to travel quite a ways, and if you go too far, into behind enemy lines with battlecruisers, you're kind of committed because of how slow they are. And if you get caught off guard by a bunch of Goliaths in a race, that could be really, really bad. But it looks like Hansen actually just dropped behind the battlecruisers into his own expansion. That is such an interesting decision. Looks like a couple of Yamato's going to go down, but wow, just still trying to hang on to this base even though there's so many battle cruisers and ground forces there defending it. This is a ridiculous TVT. And Firebathero doesn't actually have that many ground units. Oh my god, the Wraiths are moving in here. They are 2-2 Wraiths. They are cloaked Wraiths. Firebathero could lose all of his battle cruisers here. He's got no Goliath support on the ground. He's just going to be Yamatoing all those units. Oh my goodness! He's going to start losing his battle cruisers. One battle cruiser going to get targeted down. Not quite. Looks like 2 battle cruisers go down immediately. There's not enough anti-air here to deal with the Wraiths. All the PCs are going to go down. Oh my god, great switch from Hansen. And GG from Firebathero. The battle cruisers were his last hope, but Hansen just coming in with 2 control groups of Wraiths and taking them down easy peasy. Firebathero losing an epic TVT there, but he should not be ashamed. He showed us a great game, but congratulations to Hansen for taking that. Wow. Hansen is actually pretty baller. I guess beating Bisu wasn't just a fluke there. Taking down FBH in a TVT is no easy feat. TVT is probably Firebathero's best matchup. Maybe his TV, I don't know. His TVT and TVZ are both pretty good. Anyway, that's gonna put Stars up 1-0 in this brutal best of 3. Who is Ace gonna send out next? 잠시 후에는 네오 일렉트릭 세트에서 펼쳐지는 전반전 두 번째 경기로 들어오겠습니다.